Hello and welcome to today's Reframe What's Possible HD Chats with myself, Jessica Shillingford, and Baukje.
Hi, lovely to be here. Thank you.
Baukje is a 6'2" generator who is a human design coach who is passionate about helping her clients to really remember their own power and to connect with their own innate wisdom, which is one of the things that really um, excited me about your approach to human design when I spoke to you yesterday. I think it's really fun and interesting to tell our viewers how we connected. So,
Yeah,
do you want to go with? Do you want to open up and express what happened?
yeah. So we were in a Facebook group, and I asked the question: I am a 6'2" generator. How do I present myself as a coach online? Because I am a role model. So what should my focus be? Because I have something to share, and from a role model point of view. So is it about my experience, or is it more about clients? And there were a lot of good comments about it. And then you said, hey, shall we have a chat about it? Which is quite funny because you invited me. So that was interesting. How did you come to invite me instead of being invited?
Right. And so I'm a projector, Baukje is a generator. And so the
Mhm.
usual teachings and expected norms is that the generator invites the projector.
Mhm.
But what happened was I have only one defined channel, which is 5710. And when I first interacted with your post, I actually posed a question. I think I posed a question first.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you
And
you asked me if I had any experience that could be generalized to my
yes,
clients, and I said yes, I do that, but I have some resistance there.
right, exactly. Okay, brilliant. And so somehow intuitively, I just got the sense of an energetic opening. I
Mhm.
felt that it was intuitively correct for me to invite you without agenda, without expectation into my DMs to possibly explore what the resistance was all about. And being a
Mhm.
projector, it's easy for me to be able to zoom in and pose those questions. So
Mhm.
I think what happened was I got the intuitive hit. And what we spoke about yesterday with that was that number one, I have a theory that when we are operating in fifth dimensional consciousness, I don't believe that the rules of human design really apply anymore because you're operating beyond the mind.
Yeah.
And so when you operate on a frequency level, you can attune to the energy of the words on a text or on social media or wherever. Even often, I'll just scan when I receive invites on human design on my Facebook. I just scan it and sense into the energy, and I accept those who feel good and reject those
Mhm.
who don't. So I think there was an aspect of that, but
Maybe
when
in a way that I asked the question, it was also quite inviting because I was looking for advice. So there is already a sort of an invitation embedded into my question. So maybe there already was an invitation for you
100%.
to invite me, and also your invitation was so open that it was so easily to respond to it, and that's what the magic was, like, oh, this is what is happening when we are really aligned with flow. Then maybe then it's not so strict anymore, like I have to wait for the invitation, and then we surpass that somewhere, we transcend to flow. And when I talked to you, I said to you, it was almost like an angel inviting me to give me the answer that I was looking for. Because in the beginning, what I did was I sent out a call to the universe to ask, what do I need to know now? What do I need to do to show my potential? And this is something that I'm very passionate about, because I have the feeling that we're asked to step up into our greatest potential now in this time in particular. And I can see that in my clients, and I'm very excited about what is happening with my clients. But I realize that, especially as a role model, I have to do the same. So this stepping out that I'm doing today and yesterday is about me stepping into something greater, stepping into something that I before didn't know was possible, and allowing to have that magic happening for me. You know, I feel a sort of calling that I need to be more visible and show myself more. So I send out, I seeded the universe with my question, like, what do I need to do? What I need, and you responded to that to that
Amazing.
question.
Such an
Yeah.
amazing example as well of how we can use our head centers effectively to as an interface with the quantum fields. So by
Yeah.
seeing those possibility questions as a generator, that's the magic of being a generator as well. People respond, the universe responds immediately.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
you had emotionally calibrated that heart center, and bang,
Yeah.
I felt the love, and I was attracted and pulled to call you out.
Yeah.
And so talk about being a two line then.
Yeah, so I'm a 6'2", as a sixth line, you have these three phases of the third line phase until your 30th, and then from the 30th to your 50th, you have the on the roof phase, and then you have the being the role model phase from after 50. So I'm a two line, and I am on the roof, so which means that I am double hermiting. So I have the tendency to just pull myself back and be on my own, and I love being on my own, and I really need this alone time because that gives me the opportunity to integrate what I'm learning and what I'm experiencing and what I'm observing in the world, and also what I've experienced in the first 30 years. So it gives me the opportunity to integrate that with my own knowingness and my own wisdom. I also have the sun gate in the 48, so it's it's all about, to me, it's all about the depth of wisdom that I am.
Mm.
So this two line is has been calling me very much in the past years, and now it's time to. I feel that it's time to come out, and that is somewhat um, uncomfortable to change direction in a way to show myself again, because it is also quite comfortable to be in this in this game,
Mm.
and I need other people to call me out. So this interview is actually a good example of being called out, because by the questions that you're asking me, I have an opportunity to show what I know. And also, a second line is a little bit unaware of their talents. They are naturally talented, but they are a little bit insecure about it. So I'm also looking for ways to feel more secure about what it is that I am here to share. And in conversations, I get the opportunity to share more of me.
Yeah, and what's really interesting, thinking back to yesterday's conversation as well, is that on top of you having the 48 and feeling the call to be more withdrawn in your hermiting, as well as being on the roof, you have the integration circuitry as well,
Mhm.
which
Yeah, I do.
requires again more time. So
Mhm.
it's about that balance and a dance. But what I loved about what you said yesterday as well was not only did you feel that you were being called out by my invitation to let's actually get a bit more visible, let's have an interview so I can ask you questions because your work is so powerful and the world
Mhm.
needs it. You were also feeling the call from your connection with source and the universe as well, that there
I
was
do.
something that light workers had to step up.
That is what I feel. I feel a really big sort of push, especially in the last few months, that we are asked to be more than we expected to be, or more than we thought was possible. And I really feel that we are all here for some kind of mission. We're not here for nothing in this time. And so yeah, I do feel a sort of inner push, and with my guides to show myself, because it's not about me, it's about what I can do to help people to show themselves more. Because if we can all step up to our potential and be more, then we have something very powerful to work with on the earth. You know, we have a huge shift that is happening, and we are all probably conscious of it, that there is a shift happening, but to feel that we can actually do something with it. And for me, it's about remembering what brings you joy, remembering what you know is true, and following that, you know, being what enlightens you, what is your passion. And usually through life we forget that a little bit because we are settling and we're adjusting to what we think is possible for us. But to be able to talk with someone and to see, then I know there is something more. For me, it's all about remembering. So when I talk to my clients, I see something is happening because I can see the potential, of course, with the help of human design, but also with talking with someone. But then there is this moment where the other one is like, but I can feel that this is my truth, this is my potential, and this is what I remember, this is what I set out to do. And then there is this huge enthusiasm that I feel and that we both feel like, my God, there is so much more possible if we can only uh, move away from the limiting thoughts that we have. There is so much more possible for us.
What do
Yeah,
you
so
think?
I feel called. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
okay. No, what do you think the biggest barrier is for some of your clients to fulfilling or connecting with their potential?
There is always a correlation between what we think we are worth to receive and what is possible for us. So I have been working a lot in my internally. It's a combination of um, revaluing myself, so really see the value in who I am and what I do and focus on that. But you also have to let go of all these limiting beliefs and all these patterns, and it takes time to see where you have put these patterns. No, they started because you wanted to protect yourself. So it's not a bad thing that they're there. You need a lot of compassion and forgiveness for the fact that they are there. And there's nothing wrong with it. You only need to observe it, and then you can feel what it does with you, and then and then you can choose, like, oh, I don't want to believe this anymore. I want to do something else. I want to focus on how valuable I am, and that takes time. But I
Mm,
think that is the uh, biggest thing where people struggle because they forget how much value they have, and they are, and they can receive. There's so much support for us in doing what we are supposed to do. Like this, for example, I mean, I'm seeding out the question. I'm asking, what can I do to be my biggest potential? And then there is this huge amount of support in you reaching out to me that is beyond my expectation. I couldn't foresee that. But it's an example of now that I'm changing the way I see myself and value myself and know that it's about something bigger, that I'm opening the way to way more support. And so I'm hoping that that is starting to flow, of course.
that is such a beautiful point to make as well. That as we start clearing our filters and deconditioning our centers and releasing all the sort of the protections, defenses, and
Yeah,
filters, our magnetic monopole is always attracting. So the more we clean our own,
yeah,
purify, I guess, our own mind and energy field, the more
yeah,
we start to let in. And I think you've made a great point that we're always supported. It's just
yeah.
how much do we allow ourselves to receive?
Yes, exactly. And it's to me it's like opening my mind. I really have to train my mind to see more possibilities and to see that we live in this field of possibilities, but I can see only this part. So how can I open my visual, my mind? Um, so when I notice that I have a limiting belief on something, now I've started to ask the question, what else is possible here? How can I see this differently? And then usually the answer just pops in
Mm.
a different time or later, but that is a way to open up to more possibilities. And of course, when you have a conversation with me, that is also what's happening, because or with someone else. I mean, when you're able to talk about what is limiting, and usually we don't get the time to really dive into that, all these layers that are there that are limiting. And when you get to open up to them, and someone else can say, oh, but it's really great because if you look at it this way, then it's a fantastic potential, and then it's something magical can happen. But
Mm.
it's mostly about a shift in perspective. So if you couldn't have someone who can show you that way, go that way. And then oh yeah, that is true, that is actually what my original intention was.
Mm. What would you say to someone who came to you or anyone in any human design coach wanting them to tell them who they were?
That is I think that is difficult because I really love the idea that we all know, that we are knowing, and that I am not the one knowing who you are. And human design is all about following your strategy and doing what feels right. So it would be really strange if someone else would say, yeah, but you are only this and this and this and this, and very confining. So yeah, I don't know. It wouldn't be a good advice, I guess, because I talked about to you about this yesterday to you as well, because in a way, being a role model and talking about being some sort of expert in my field maybe, it sometimes feels also a little bit difficult because I'm not the expert of my client's life. That is the client. My client is the expert. So I know a little bit about my experience, and I know about human design, and I have the opportunity because I'm on the sideline to see a bigger perspective. But if, in the end, it's all, you remember, that is what it's about. So I hope you can find someone who can ask you the right questions that can help you to tune into, oh, yes, this is what I know. This is what I am. This is what feels right. And know that should judge you about that. What do you feel, Jessica,
Oh, I feel
about that?
exactly the same as you. I think that we all have our, I think the potential, the beauty of human design is the ability to help people to access their own knowing.
Mhm.
So if somebody is, I mean, it teaches you, it shows you a lot about how you can access your own decision making strategy. So that's number one. So that's beautiful. But it also shows you where you have access to other forms of intuition as well. Because I've often thought about this is another theory I've come up with. I feel that human design gives us survival intuition. It gives us a recipe for our actual. So I've always understood that intuition was a skill and it was something that everybody had, but not everybody was aware of or was consciously using to make decisions. And I think that's because the Western world got so caught up in using the mind and logic as a decision making strategy. So I believe that human design gives people a roadmap for what I now call survival intuition, which is your basic intuition that if you remember how to use that, you can just move through life. But I do believe that there is a a range of intuitive skills and abilities, such as your clairaudience, your claircognizance, your clairvoyance, which we can see as well in the chart, which is more dominant. So if you've got your 6447, we're going to see a lot of perhaps more clairvoyance or abstract intuition, whereas with like for my 5710, 57s are very acoustic, so very clairaudient. But we have, because the same way we have access to all of the chart, we also have access to a vast range of intuitive skills. It's just which ones are consistent or inconsistent. But I think I've just gone a bit away from the question that you asked, which is if somebody comes to me asking me purely to tell them who they are, I'm going to say, I'm not going to be able to do that.
Um,
I'm going to, I'm going to be able to show you the potential of the energies and the themes that you will experience and how you work with that. But the answers are going to be inside you.
Yeah, and I also make a point of making it as practical as possible, because human design is only fun and only helpful when you put it into daily action. So it's I meet a lot of people who know, yeah, I heard I am a projector, I heard I am a generator, and that's it. And then
Yeah.
it's and it stops there. But it's there to be used as a tool. So if you know, you can use it as a way of making decisions, and as a way of what I'm using it for probably is to give a sort of bigger perspective, like, oh, this is who I am, and this is what is possible for me, and this is what feels right, and this is what I'm not. So that's a good thing. So to have a sort of bigger perspective on your life and on your possibilities, that helps to make these conscious decisions even more. To me, that feels very motivating, like,
Mm.
oh, I have something to share here. Oh, now I feel motivated to actually make the decisions that are according to my strategy. And yes, of course, we have all of the charts, so we have all of the possibilities. And I think we are moving away from this survival um, thing, or we're learning to move away from that in, as when our experiment is progressing. I think we are also getting more lighter, so the energy is increasing, our frequency is increasing, so we have more the capacity to understand more. So we will probably get to a point where we actually transcend this basic survival way of using our strategy. We've talked about it yesterday as well. There comes a point where we don't need to wait as much as we do now. I mean, waiting is wonderful. Waiting to
Yeah.
me is a period of healing. It's a time for really realigning, and it's not only in yourself, but it's also in the universe. Everything can realign to what it needs to happen. So it's okay that we need waiting time now, but there will be a point where our frequency has been rising and our consciousness has been expanded, and we understand each other more, that the waiting will fall away, and then we can just flow and feel it in the moment, and that's a good thing, I guess. So yeah, I think human design helps us to get to that point, and then
Mm.
we can just be everything, because in the end we are all of the chart. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just that we access it in different ways.
Yes. And I think the idea of having that awareness to be able to sample energy and use it and become wise with with the energies that we are absorbing or experiencing,
Mhm.
makes us again more able to have a very powerful relational collective experience, because
Mhm.
the more you accept and understand how you're working with others, the better society gets, the more fun your
Yeah,
life.
I think it reminds us about how powerful we are as creators of our own
Mhm.
life, and of our own experiences. And I think in our society we've been moved away from that remembrance that we actually are very powerful creators. And we have the opportunity to come, and I think that correlates with when I'm losing all these limiting beliefs, when I'm valuing myself more. This magnetic monopole is opening up, so more opportunities are coming to me, and I remember how powerful I am and what I can create with. Well, if everybody can do that, that is why it's so important. It's not even about me. I mean, I am doing it, but in the same time, everybody is doing that, and then we have so much potential to create such a beautiful world, I guess.
100% agree. Okay. Is there anything that you would like to your client, well, not your clients, but the world to know about how to work with you or how to connect with you right now, as we start wrapping up?
Oh, thank you. Oh, I didn't expect that question. Yeah, well, you can reach out to me on Facebook. At the moment, I'm not on a lot of channels yet, but I will get there. And yeah, I'm open for live sessions, human design readings, but I also do clarity calls. So if you have just one question, we can just jump into that, and then you can have a little bit more of a shift of perspective, so you can remember, oh yeah, this is what what I set out to do, and this is what I want to do. And then you have a clear next step you can take, because I'm very practical.
Fantastic.
And So yeah, you reach out if you want to. You're very welcome, and thank you so
So
much.
I'll put your link in the comment section and in
Thank
the
you.
guide section of this video. And the final
Thank you.
question that I have is, what is the greatest thing about being a generator or an awakened generator, somebody who uses the human design system as a generator?
I think it's the opportunity to become very aware and conscious about yourself. That is what I really love. And also this opportunity to really step into the flow of life and be supported, because that is all what we do. We're just going from the one yes to the next yes and to the next yes, and it's all coming to me. So that is like such a beautiful thing. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much for posing that question yesterday and for inviting me in some energetic way
Yeah.
to invite you.
Thank
So,
you. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
yeah, okay, so much love. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hang on. And